I think I'm a special one.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
All right. What's up, Chad?
What's going on? Big news coming in Super League.
This is a bit of a surprise episode 22. Right? I mean,
we had to jump on it quick. Everything's happening so fast.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we missed tons of breaking news the past 2 days, but luckily I feel like we're going to hit a lot of good news tonight. And then by the time you're listening to this, there might be 3 other huge pieces of news that we just leave out, but hopefully it's still worth it. I was thinking originally, I put out that picture on Instagram. You had your senior day for college. I'm coaching, we're playing, do all this stuff. We'll talk about it next time. There's the Champions League quarterfinals. I feel like there's just too much. We'll stick to UEFA Super League in this one, and everything kind of surrounding it. Cool with that?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
All right.
So going on
So, we got to stay consistent, though. What are you wearing?
So I don't know if I've worn it before, but I got my Port Vale kit. Port Vale, I'm pretty sure they still play in League 2 in England. I don't think they're very good. I tried getting into some of their games because I had the jersey. And
ESPN Plus?
I'm pretty sure they might have got relegated from League 2, but I'm not 100% sure.
So they wouldn't even be in FIFA anymore.
I don't know. I don't think they are.
That's
I haven't checked. But I like because it got a collar. Collar kits, I really like them. I
actually had my sophomore year at Stevenson in college, we had a collared kit. And turns out the kit, NCAA has certain specifications for kits. So it turns out the kit was illegal. You weren't allowed to wear it for an NCAA game, but we just wore it anyway. The brand was 90 minutes. So on this collar, if you flipped it up, underneath the collar said 90 minutes, which is funny because we'd go into overtime and play 110 minutes or something.
Yeah, they don't want to be 90 minutes anymore.
Yeah. So a lot of the jerseys I have, and actually a few that I haven't worn on here yet, I got a couple, Man City's, Chelsea's, some bigger clubs. Not the day for that. I wanted something European. I wanted something more authentic. You're wearing Port Vale, lower divisions in England. I'm wearing Olympiacos.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That was my reasoning too.
Yeah. So Olympiacos, they could theoretically win the Greek league, make it to the Champions League, make it to the top of the soccer world. Port Vale, same thing, just way smaller scale. Actually, on the collar of this jersey is a phrase. It must be the club phrase. I don't know. It says, "We keep on dreaming." And I just love it. And kind of leads us into our theme today. UEFA Super League, right? So basically, there's been rumblings about this for a while now, but Sunday, news starts breaking. All of the biggest clubs in Europe are starting a Super League to compete with the Champions League. So it's basically, who is it? England.
I can give a rundown of how it would be set up.
Yeah. So, first we have.
Okay.
I'll go. Chelsea. Let's see. Chelsea, Man United, Man City, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool. Italy, Italian teams, you had AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juve. Spain, you had Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. In Germany, they declined. RB Leipzig declined, Bayern Munich declined, Borussia Dortmund declined, and in France, PSG declined. How is this supposed to even be set up? Do you know how the competition was supposed to go?
So I think the first year, don't think it would have been next season, but the season after would start.
Yeah, August 22, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Is that next?
Yeah, that's not this August, the next one.
Yeah. So those teams, for example, Chelsea or whatever, if they were to have joined, they would not be in the Premier League and not be in the Champions League. It would be something different. I'm pretty sure they would also have a midweek schedule as well.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's kind of all they're playing in.
mhm.
And
What do you
then you had the 12 original teams, like what the teams that you just mentioned, and then they
Mhm.
planned on getting up to 20 eventually. But there would be qualifications, like qualification process for teams to
Yeah.
get into it.
Yeah. I didn't understand the qualification process. And honestly, like, so part of the fight was that these teams wanted to break away from the Champions League. I guess UEFA is pretty corrupt. I mean, we know like FIFA is pretty corrupt. And they were going to have these games midweek in place of the Champions League. But I don't know if they thought they could do their domestic league and the Super League at the same time. But basically, UEFA and the domestic leagues just like kicked them out. They were like, if you join the Super League, you're not allowed in the domestic competitions. And the big one was that all of the players playing in this league would not be allowed in FIFA, like the World Cup. So I think that's what really caused all of the hoopla, like the uproar.
So I'm sure anyone listening, a soccer fan,
Yeah.
basically knows the whole idea of what's going on. But
Mhm.
I have not read or seen anyone that like an actual soccer fan like that's for this league. Like,
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
haven't even talked about it. What do you think?
Yeah. Honestly, like, all right. So I'm thinking like what these people are thinking. One, you get a ton of money, right? There's a huge cash bonus as soon as it was going to start. And that was their thinking, that we get the biggest clubs in, give them money. They'll spend more money on players. We'll get tons of, you know, tons of TV money. And I think they thought it was a good idea. I think they thought they were coming out like, like a big baller, thinking, we're going to have a great game every week, and Bayern Munich's going to play PSG, or like, well, not in this case because they declined, but Chelsea's going to play Man City, and Barcelona's going to play Inter Milan, and like it was just all like basically Champions League quarterfinals or better quality games. And I think they thought the fans were going to be for that. And to me, the pushback for me was like, it's not fair that you're just in. Like, what has Tottenham done or Arsenal done to qualify for this? Are they valued as the most popular? Huh?
Did you listen to Gary Neville's rant?
Yeah. Oh, he was great, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. They like, so these teams that like, okay, we could all agree Tottenham's a huge club. Maybe they are the top 15 biggest clubs in the world, but on the field, they're not that good. And like, how do you qualify? I think top 4 in the Premier League is fair to qualify for the Champions League. At least it's something that you could invest in and try to go towards to qualify. But you're basically letting them pay for a free pass into this tournament every year. And like maybe down the road, they let some teams qualify based on sporting merit, but that's not fair. Tottenham and Arsenal just get in automatically because they're a big club, or Man United get in because they're a big club. Like it should be like you perform well and you get in. And theoretically, this was going to close the pyramid. It was going to say like who's to say that Newcastle in 10 years might not be a top 10 biggest club in the world, or Atalanta, or like, anybody really.
Yeah, like for example, Arsenal and Tottenham, like what have they done in the past years to even show that they deserve to be at like the top? Like who determines the pick? Like
yeah. It's almost like who's to say you're the biggest club? Do you have the highest net worth? Is the owner the most rich? Is it the most fans?
I was listening to this one podcast, soccer podcast. This dude was going on a rant saying like it's about like what the rich think. Like when in life do you ever get like picked to be like, like why is Arsenal and Tottenham being picked to be put in this? Like who chooses this,
Yeah. It's basically, I think they just picked who has the most like staying power and like sticking power, who could shell out the most money for players, who could benefit the most from bringing on this money. It's like, okay, if you're extending it to, we just keep picking on Arsenal and Tottenham, one, because it's fun. Yeah, but like, who's to say like Leicester, like they've performed better. They probably have a higher worth squad than Arsenal right now. Why are they not in? It's literally just take a snapshot in time. Who are the theoretical most valuable clubs right now? But that snapshot is invalid in 5 years or 10 years or 2 years. But no, now they just have a free pass to this league every year. So that's where I think everybody thought it was a bad idea.
Yeah. And it goes to show like where the owners of these teams are at.
Yeah.
Like, do you think they know anything about soccer? Probably not. They're from foreign countries buying clubs just to make money. So they bring them into this thinking, oh, it's just an investment. But really, like it's changing the way soccer is in Europe.
And we'll get to like some other stuff in like later in the episode. I think like people were blaming it on these American owners coming in, like the Glazers own Man United, the Fenway Group own Liverpool, Kroenke, I think he's the guy like behind like Walmart. He owns Arsenal. So like they were like, oh, they want to Americanize sports. I think they just see a path to get a free pass to the big money all the time. But soccer is built like, especially in Europe, on like an ecosystem. There's like promotion relegation. It's not here in the US, but in other countries, you could start a grassroots club and theoretically work your way up. You get promoted, you invest money, you get what you put in, you perform on the field, you work your way up. You invest in stadiums, players, infrastructure, and like you could be as good as your means allow. You could work your way up to be a Man City or something like that. But this closes it. If Leicester want to invest hundreds of $1 million in players and be the top team in the Premier League, now it's like, what's the point? You're going to get into a Champions League without the other best teams in the world?
No, they really are trying. I think they are trying to Americanize it because, like they're trying to make these teams into like a franchise.
Yeah. I don't like
think
it's
United States does with their sports teams.
I don't think like, okay, it's an American idea, I guess, but I don't think it's the Glazers from Man United being like, let's Americanize this. I just think they see one, like other sports franchises, like in the US, they happen to be in the US, they make a lot of money, but they make a lot of money because they can kind of eliminate their competition and control who's the biggest, who has the biggest share in the most important stuff. That happens in like every business. So like, just from a business standpoint, like Man City's run by, I don't know, Middle Eastern people, So I don't know who it is, or like some prince or something. So like they're not trying to, Saudi Arabianize the how they play too. It's not just Americanized, it's just the smart business move. And if you sit back and think of it as an asset and not a soccer club, it's a good move. You're going to make a lot of money.
It's like the American theory of like MLS teams do it all the time. They start up a franchise just like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like thinking like that's just going to succeed. But like a club like Port Vale, like how they can't even. I have no clue where they're at, honestly. Yeah. But somewhere around League Two. Yeah. You know how hard it is for them to probably stay up in League Two.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably would kill, obviously, to go up to the Premier League. But like these rich owners up in the Premier League are like, yeah, I can do this. I'm chosen. Like I don't need the Premier League,
Yeah.
Which I have a question. I'm not sure. Like, did they like choose to leave the Premier League or like these clubs or like?
I think their thinking was that they could play both at least to start, and just replace the Champions League. No, they were going to get literally kicked out of the domestic like league.
Okay.
And I heard like they were gonna like take points off them. And even they were going to get kicked out of the Champions League too. So like literally PSG is the only non-Super League club left.
But the fact that they would still want to be in the Super League after being told that they would get kicked out.
Yeah. Well, I think they were
get a -10 points at the start of next season.
They're going to, you're saying, or they should?
Like that's what I heard. If Super League were to follow through.
Yeah, you got to hit them like at least where it hurts. Some people were saying take away all their trophies, like transfer ban, whatever. I don't know how you really enforce that if they're starting their own league. Forget what I was going to say, but
yeah, I was going to say something too, and I forgot.
We're just like kind of shooting from the hip here, but really, like I think the biggest thing is this could change the way soccer is. Like soccer in like Europe, the whole ecosystem survives because there's bigger clubs that are scouting and they want the best players and they buy them to compete in the best competitions. So if the pool of teams that are buying the best players is just taking chunks of that money, like there's only a certain amount of money that's going to be put into soccer or football around the world, right? And even if soccer grows, the pool of money is just going to keep going to the biggest and biggest clubs. And if this Super League like took all that money, there's less money to go to even the top teams in the Premier League, like Leicester or West Ham, or the top teams left in like La Liga, like Real Betis or something like that. So there's just less money to go around, and they're just eating it up and eating it up. And there's less growth, and they're going to have more money to spend on more players and higher wages. And it's literally just raises the level of the Super League, and everybody else gets left down.
You think this is like a test run? Like, you think this could, like, all right, we heard today that like all Premier League teams are dropping out of this. I don't know about the Italian or Spanish teams, but do you think something like this could happen again? Like maybe starts like talks start picking up again.
Yeah, I think they wanted to start this, and I heard Juventus and like Real Madrid started planning it back in like August or September. But I think they wanted to start this, and they're like, if it goes, then great. If not, we like learn from it. But I think FIFA and UEFA putting those sanctions on the club, saying no World Cup, no domestic competition, I think that was like them trying to like get at each other, and it's like a power play. And so maybe the big like Super League clubs just go back and get a bigger share of the TV revenue from the EPL TV deals, and they like negotiate it that way, which in theory then it worked. But yeah, but you mentioned it. All of the Premier League teams are dropping out at this point. Middle of the day today, Man City dropped out, Chelsea dropped out, and then Man United's chairman or something, he resigned. And then I think it was just like domino effect. I mean, like apparently Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw went to this like chairman guy and like complained about it. All of the Liverpool players were like going nuts on Twitter.
I heard Jordan Henderson had a captain's meeting for every captain in the Premier League.
Oh, that's kind of tough. You probably got him on a Zoom.
My roommate is a Liverpool fan, and he said that one player he hates the most in the whole world is Jordan Henderson. I'm like, that's the captain of your favorite team. Like, how do you?
Henderson's good too.
But when I heard that, I was like, wow.
Yeah, I like Jordan Henderson. And I don't think the players wanted it either, because you're taking away FIFA. And I think they see the fact that like there's money to be made and huge wages in this potential Super League, but it could disrupt everything else. And I mean, think about it. Unless you're in the Super League, you're going to make so much less money trying to get to the Super League. Like, think about it. If you're a 20-year-old player playing for like a middle table French team, right? Before you if you're a Riyad Mahrez before going to Leicester or something like that, like you're not making as much money. There's less room to grow. And it's like basically you just have to get to the Super League and then you've made it. Yeah. And it would kill the rest of the European ecosystem there.
Now, two things. One, you think players would be, if this happened, you think players would be interested to transfer out, or you think they'd be making too much money to?
The players in there, I think, would be making too much money. But then how do you get players to leave too? Like players would just try to sign huge contracts. And then like you'd end up with like these huge squads because, okay, a guy like Henderson or a guy like Milner, like you want to keep them around and they probably negotiate huge contracts, but like Liverpool still are going to have money to spend. So they're just going to go spend it on someone, but then keep Milner. Like Milner, like I'm trying to think of like another guy. Like think of a Lingard, right? He wants to go to West Ham to play. He could still make a lot of money. But if all the money is in the Super League, why would he leave? There's no point of going somewhere to test himself to try and improve his form. He's just going to stay with the money. So eventually these squads would just get so big too, that like they're just paying ridiculous amounts of money and the clubs have the money to spend.
Now I find that I have an interesting thought. What if they did create the Super League, but there's like promotion and relegation? So like the winner of the Premier League, the winner of Serie A, the winner of La Liga, so they send one to go up and like 3 come down. Imagine that.
3 come down.
Like 3 go back down to their leagues.
So you mean like the highest finishing? So like Man City and Chelsea are both in the Super League, but Man City finishes first, Chelsea finishes second in the Premier League. So City are in the top division of the Super League.
City would go. No, say Everton win the Premier League because all the top 6 are in the Super League.
Yeah.
And say Chelsea finishes last.
In the Super League?
Yeah. Everton go up to the Super League.
I mean, that's
Like
like
that
a better idea.
I don't know how it would work, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if they were like maybe thinking about doing that.
See, now that's something that I think would work because it would still suck money out of the domestic leagues, which I don't think they want. But it's a Champions League, but revised so that you get the best teams playing more often, but also giving teams like a way to be included, even if it's like a bit of a long shot.
That's the thing. The people who created the Super League were probably not expecting people to.
No, I really think they thought people would love it. I think they were like, yeah, Real Madrid and Juve every week. Like, yeah, like, and I think
it would be cool too, but that's what makes it cool when they play in the Champions League.
Yeah. And it would get old. And I think, okay, you're an AC Milan fan. Like, what do you gain from winning this league? There's no stakes, there's no history. It's like, okay, I won this league that nobody earned the right to play in. We're just here because someone paid me.
Facts.
It would be like it'd be like the richest guys in the world starting like a golf tournament or something, and it's like a huge buy-in, but like they win, and it's like, for what? Like Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson weren't in it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's a stupid example, but like it's the same thing.
I get what you're saying.
You're leaving out guys that could be better than you or could earn a spot in that just because you don't even know why you're a super league or why you're a super team. Is it payroll? Is it squad? Is it like net worth? Is it the owners, total fans? And another thing too is like,
because they're rich.
Yeah, people
all about money now.
A lot of like, I think the fans in England did a great job. Like today, Chelsea played, and the Chelsea supporters like blocked the team bus from getting in. They like chased it away, and they sent like Peter Cech out to try and like talk to the fans to let them through.
Really?
Yeah.
He's probably just sitting in the seat and like, they're like, yeah, can you go talk to him real quick?
Yeah. Yo, Peter, we need you. Liverpool did something similar. They like Liverpool fans like took down all their banners or something. And I think like, it's like, okay, you have these generations of fans that built these clubs, and now you're just catering to the, these teams are huge in Asia, India, like the Americas, like, you're just catering to these, like, I'm not going to call them plastics because there's big fans all around the world, but these fans that aren't the ones that built the club just for money, for greed. It's hard to blame them because money,
No, yeah.
But we were talking about the clubs that pulled out. Inter Milan and AC Milan both pulled out. Juve is yet to say anything, but Allegri, who's like their longtime, is the name Allegri?
Allegri's the coach.
No, I'm not thinking of Allegri. What's his name?
The coach? I don't know if he's.
Who's the Anelli? That's his name. Anelli's the longtime like CEO, like head guy there. He stepped down from Juve, which is like a big deal.
Today?
Yeah. And they still haven't said anything yet. Real Madrid hasn't said anything yet. Apparently Barca's about to leave. Atletico, like, what the heck are they doing there? So, and they were going to ask like Porto to be in. It's like, it just really doesn't make sense. But yeah, all of these teams started pulling out, and I'm happy that they are.
Yeah, it really, like, it sucks that that their intentions were just to make money. They didn't consider
if you're
the history of the club and the leagues.
Definitely go listen to Gary Neville's rant about it. I like, he's got a good podcast. Not quite as good as ours, but he's got a good one. And
Rio Ferdinand did too. I heard a rant from Rio Ferdinand too.
Rio. But these fans weren't going to stop supporting the team. Like, it's hard to say, you're a Liverpool fan, you just stop supporting the team. Like, it's hard to say no, but you could still hate the owners for the greed and that kind of stuff. Like, you could feel no like attraction to the the people that are running the club and still like the club.
So like when Liverpool won the league last year,
Mm-hmm.
like what was it, the first time in like 30 years or something?
Yeah.
That probably meant like so much to them.
Mm-hmm.
But they compare like but they'd be playing. They played less competition than what they would be playing in the Super League. Like now, if Liverpool won the Super League,
Yeah.
like I guess the fans would be excited or whatever, but it's not the same as winning like the Premier
Yeah.
League, which like,
Mm-hmm.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, what does that mean? What are the stakes? It's hard for like me to say a whole lot because obviously I'm not a fan of one of the Super League teams or even like, I mean, you're a fan of Everton, but like,
Yeah, we'd win the Premier League if they left.
I don't know. You probably still finish eighth.
Nah, we'd finish behind West Ham and Leicester.
West Ham's nice though. So is Leicester. Yeah, it's like who's to say that Leicester's not a super team? Like they've been outperforming some of these other teams. One thing I do think I want to talk about, like before I really thought this through and like kind of thought about like some of the big club implications, is like think about FIFA putting the power play on the Super League and saying none of these players can play in the World Cup. But we could all agree that the Qatar World Cup was pretty corrupt. But if you're not going to allow some of the best players in the World Cup to play, like one, it's going to kill the World Cup. It's going to kill like generations of fans. Like I was thinking like worst case scenario, like what happens if it rips these federations apart? Like what if someone in U.S. soccer has a different say that Pulisic and Serginho Dest can't play in the World Cup, and there's differing views, and the Super League starts their own World Cup, and then there's like a whole nother U.S. soccer federation that could like come about, and there's like two national teams, and like I don't know, it just gets like crazy weird, and like
Soccer's already confusing enough.
yeah, what if the U.S. Soccer Federation just split in half and like then there's no governing body for the whole youth game? Like it could in 10 years, like this could have like just changed soccer and like thrown it all off. Like this could have wiped out soccer. Who knows?
So there would just be no more soccer.
It's the ecosystem is dude, it's like taking away the rainforest, man. It's dude, it's like or like killing all of like the like the bumblebees. They like spread stuff from flowers that are like really important. Like it's so important to go like be a club that poaches young players from these leagues that eventually sell them to bigger leagues. Those clubs, if they can't sell at a certain rate, they don't, it's just there's a whole like thing going around. It's hard to like put into words, but you could see how that could happen.
Do you think they would really not let players play in the World Cup?
I think eventually they would have. I just think it was FIFA trying to like be really hard on them. You can't have a World Cup without like some of the best guys. And the rumor or like the conspiracy was that PSG is owned by like Qatar Airways or some Qatarian people, and they were just holding out so that like Mbappe and all those guys could play in the Qatar World Cup, and then they would just join, or so that they'd win the Champions League by forfeit, and then they join the Super League at some point.
Yeah, I heard they were going to make a decision on that, but I guess if teams decide they're dropping out, I guess they're not going to make a decision on the Champions League.
For the anti-Super League people, which is the majority, it seemed like, I think it helped that they framed it as the rich against the poor or the fans versus the big businessmen, which it kind of is, but I could see both sides as to the big businessman wanting to make more money, but also trying to give the fans the best games possible. But yeah, I think it helps that Marcus Rashford comes out, or like Ander Herrera came out and said like, no, like football's for the fans. Like this is, it was built by these guys. So
yeah, I really wonder, like a lot of players have said stuff. I really wonder like what they would do,
Yeah. I mean, they should have came out and said like, I'm not playing in the Super League, but
like they probably make like a ton of money, but like that's just not like. Well, I read Kevin De Bruyne's. That's my guy. He said like it's not why he started. Like he basically said it's not why he started playing.
He said something like at the end, he was like, dreamers keep dreaming or something, which is like on the back of my shirt on the collar. We keep on dreaming.
Yes, sir.
I had something else good to say. I saw something on Twitter. Someone was saying Pulisic makes like about 10 million at Chelsea. Would he take like 4 million less to play for like West Ham or something like that? And like, would these guys take a wage cut to play in a World Cup? And like, it really like wouldn't make sense for these players if they're offered this huge wage, I think. But if you really think long term, it's best to try and refine whatever the Champions League is so that everybody can play in these competitions and it's more inclusive.
Well, if you think about it, it's like the Chinese league. Like a lot of players could go to the Chinese league if they wanted to and make like a ton of money.
Yeah.
Is it similar in that way? You know what I mean? Because I mean, the Chinese league's not the same quality as the Super League.
Yeah.
But players aren't making as much playing in a better league like the Premier League or something.
Yeah.
If they go to the Chinese league, maybe they'll be making like something crazy, like 25 million or something.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder. I guess it'd be up to the player. And like, all right, so a guy like Marcus Rashford, good guy, comes out and like against, talking about it's for the fans, he's against it. But like, if you put him up to it and he makes $8 million and you said the Super League you could make $15 million a year, and we're giving you a 6-year contract making that much, like, is he going to say no? Probably not. Like,
I mean, who knows how much money will be gone into? Because like some bank, isn't it like JP Morgan or something?
Yeah, JP Morgan was going to spend 4.6 billion to like get it off the ground or something. I also heard each club was going to get 3.5 billion, but like that didn't seem right. It seemed too much.
Yeah, I don't know how the finances work there.
But I don't know. I feel like we covered this, pretty well. Like the one thing I do want to say, I want to talk about, we can get back to Europe, but when people say they're trying to Americanize the sport, and then there's a lot of people on Twitter that are using this as to get promotion relegation in the United States. And like, I get it. It sounds the same. It sounds like, oh, US soccer is not inclusive. Like European, like the Super League would not be inclusive, and American soccer is already not inclusive. So they're the same. And I really don't think that's true. I think, I would like to see promotion relegation in the US. And I used to not think that, but there's like, we were trying to start a league and every other league had failed in the United States, and MLS just happened to like do well with these franchise fees, and it was a way to get more business owners in. Now, has it gotten out of hand selling these random franchise fees to a team like somewhere like Austin or St. Louis, where there was already soccer teams? Yeah,
definitely.
So is there a way to integrate it? Probably, but it does guarantee that there's good owners willing to invest instead of, so St. Louis, what's the St. Louis MLS team coming?
FC?
No, it's like Sporting St. Louis or something, I think. I don't know, something stupid.
Sporting St. Louis. Here we go. with this crap.
St. Louis SC. No, but there was St. Louis FC in the USL. And like the MLS team got announced and then they just folded. So they are soccer communities, but in the US, like you kind of need a good owner to guarantee that the club can stay around. But there is an argument that so I'm just thinking now there's 4, 5 NPSL, PDL type grassroots teams in our area that could all, in theory, if you could get promoted from a men's league to the 5th tier, the 4th tier, all the way up to the top tier, they could say, hey, we have a youth structure. We have like a good base of amateur college type players in our system, invest in us a little bit. We'll build whatever the stadium requirements are, and we'll try and pay players more and get promoted to the next level and try and, have ambition to build up. So I think that would be cool. I think talking like what promotion relegation would look like in the United States would be too long for this episode, and like a whole different conversation would require research.
Yeah, we talked about it once, right? With the League MX.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, which is a little bit similar to the Super League here. But yeah, I would like to see promotion relegation here, but it's not the same as this Super League because there's soccer that is doing okay in the US. Not flourishing, not what it could be, but it's doing okay. And that could still be part of the ecosystem. The soccer that isn't perfect here is benefiting from the thriving ecosystem that the domestic leagues and the Champions League has created. With the Super League, I think it cuts it off, right? It really puts like a hard stop there for this ecosystem. And you would feel it here too. You would feel it at these MLS clubs trying to grow youth players, you know?
Yep.
That's kind of what I got.
Yeah, same. But we'll see in the next couple days
Mm-hmm.
what happens. I'm sure by the time this is up, something new will happen.
Yeah. And honestly, what's probably going to happen is like we'll log off here and then we'll have like three or four other points to make. I'm going to be honest, dude. Like Sunday night and Monday, I was like bummed out. Like I was thinking worst case scenario, like this could ruin soccer. And even if there was still good soccer, like one of the things I like about soccer is it's different than American sports. I love American sports. I love football. I love the NBA. Like they're different. And I don't want to argue against the NBA system because I like it, but I like soccer too. I like how it's unique and there's something else to it. And I get like kind of the best of both of it. And if soccer were to close it off in that way, and really kind of like just hurt the rest of the world, I was like really bummed. I was going to be like really bummed out about it. And I was really like kind of nervous about what it could do to like the youth game too.
When I first saw it, yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw it, I thought it would just be like a different type of Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was thinking about it, like they could definitely like change up the Champions League a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
more so the top teams play each other more often.
I guess yeah, but it's also okay. Do you want to give the champion of Turkey or the champion of Russia like a chance to win? Yeah, you do. So you kind of need those teams as well, or else if you just exclude those teams, even if it was just like, even if this Super League was just England, France, Germany, Spain, and Italy, the big five, and you took the champions or the top four from each of those leagues, it still isn't inclusive enough because there's still countries that in theory could compete with those and invest in it.
Teams for like Ajax.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it too, like maybe the CONCACAF Champions League should be more inclusive. Like how cool would it be to have like the USL champion in there, you know?
That's like a league below though.
Yeah, I get it, but there's no promotion relegation and like there's I say in theory a lot because a lot of this stuff we're talking about right now is in theory, but in theory, a USL team could spend and acquire talent and be better than MLS teams, which they're not, but they could be. And because there's no open system to prove that, they're not afforded the chance to play in MLS at some point unless they buy their way in. So maybe they should be able to. But then the Open Cup does give that opportunity.
Yeah, it does.
US Open Cup, which is another one of my complaints because the Open Cup is really not open this year because of COVID. It's going to be a lot of pro teams and only a few amateurs and whatever. Yeah, I think they suspended it though.
Did I see something about the Open Cup? Like, did they announce the teams and groups?
They did. But I'm pretty sure they suspended it till like middle of summer. They weren't going to do it till later anyway. So, yeah.
What's the format? Just same knockout, or
Yeah, but like way less teams.
Okay.
Like 16 or 32. Like to give you an example, there was, I don't know, like 54 possible amateur teams that could have made it. And like they were only picking 2 of them. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
We could have played.
Almost, bro. Anything else? The Super League?
Nah, just hope it happens so everything goes in the Premier League. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And then you win it, and then it's like for what?
My friend actually texted me. He's also an Everton fan. He texted me we would have won in 17, 18, 10, 11, and like 2 other years. We would have won the Premier League.
Dang, you would have been living nice, bro.
If those top 6 teams weren't there.
So you're firmly in 7.
Yeah, some years.
All right. So I think next episode we'll kind of recap college stuff, what we're doing, maybe Champions League, give you an update on this, that kind of stuff. And then I've been saying it for a while, but we haven't been too frequent with some of these episodes, that we do have a couple like really good, like longer term episode ideas that are like not related to current news, they're just like soccer in general topics, which we talked a lot about when we first started the podcast, I think. So I kind of want to get back to that. I'm actually reading like a few books, and I was thinking maybe we do like some book summaries or like tie those themes into this as well.
You could do a book club.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, though, I was listening to a podcast that I have a bunch of different like weird podcasts I listen to. One of them was they were talking about the idea of like changing your, like knowing that you're wrong and changing your view. And then, I don't think
maybe you should pay attention to that.
No, dude. No.
Exactly.
I'm just not wrong.
You're already saying you're not
wrong. But maybe these clubs saw that they were wrong and changed it. But I just think they didn't think the backlash would be this big. I don't think they were really wrong. I think they just saw the money.
Yep. It's a lot of money.
Yeah. All right. Ready to hop off? Oh, another thing before we hop off.
Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna start promoting this. I think we're gonna do a podcast FIFA tournament. We'll get it running on social media. Hit us up on any platform if you're interested. I think it'd be cool.
How would that work?
We just match everyone that says they want to play. We just match them up. We promote it on social media. We match them up, give them a week to get the first round of games in. Then we just keep narrowing it down. Winner gets, something. I just got some stickers in. If you can see the back of my phone, I got a on the halftime sticker.
Yeah, those are nice. I think I need one, but you haven't given me any yet.
I have like 17 of them, so you can have one.
For the FIFA tournaments, some are Xbox, some are PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, so we'll figure it out.
All right, cool.
Maybe we'll have like a PS4 or a PlayStation bracket and an Xbox bracket. Oh, dude, maybe I'll post a picture on our social media. I got this FIFA 21 poster, and it's like a picture of Mbappe, but it's actually pretty cool. It's not the picture of Mbappe that's on the cover of FIFA.
Yeah.
It's like it's weird. He's like wearing street clothes or something. I'll put it in on our social media.
Where'd you get it? eBay?
eBay. It was like $9. I'll put it somewhere back here. I don't know where though. I'll figure it out.
And I'll keep everyone updated. Been opening 1993 NPSL soccer cards. And
nice.
I haven't found anyone yet that I know.
Do you have access to like our TikTok and Instagram?
Yeah.
Just make like a TikTok if you open in packs or something.
All right. I'll do that.
All right, cool. All right. So that's it for episode 22.
Yes, sir. 22, old Pulisic number.
Oh. Lawless, bro.
There you go. Yeah.
Can't wait till we get to episode 80 for Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you guys.
All right. See you. Peace.